The first thing, of course, is without a doubt, religions or the religious approach to truth, religions are incompatible with each other and with rationality, because religions are, at the very nicest way of putting it, they're Platonic-style revelations, and revelations cannot be objectively communicated. Science, of course, is compatible with science. Different scientific theories are compatible over the long run as more evidence pours in. But religions are incompatible with each other and are incompatible with philosophy because they're faith-based, not reason and evidence-based. And faith is a subjective experience. Reason and evidence are objective experiences, which means other people can share in them without already believing them. I think that, to me, is indisputable. And, of course, the degree to which we are more reason and evidence-based is the degree to which we can get along and use objective facts to resolve our disputes. If you had the choice to have a state without religion or religious plurality without a state, which would you choose? So you would rather have a society with no state and a plurality of religion, and plurality of religion, of course, is just basically plurality of thought, which would include non-religion, rather than a society where there was a state but no religion. No religion doesn't mean no irrationality. I mean, on the left, they tend more towards atheism, and they're nutty as a bag of peanuts, right?
Correct.
The reason why this is so particularly important is that if atheists wish to reduce the power of religion in society, they must reduce the power of the state. And by reducing the size and power of the state, they are reducing the size and power of religion. But a lot of atheists seem to have a tough time understanding that. Religion is a form of social organization in which the attempt is made to internalize moral rules within the population, which is efficient. Certainly, if people obey their conscience, that is much more efficient in terms of getting people to obey social rules than if they say, well, the odds of me getting caught by the agents of the state are relatively low, so from a cost-benefit standpoint, I'm going to steal this car, right? You want people to believe that stealing is wrong. If you can get people to internalize these moral rules, then the total cost of ownership for running that society goes down like 95%, right? Because an ounce of prevention, as the old saying goes, is worth a pound of cure. And when you take away God, you take away the myth that feeds the conscience. And the idea that you can just have people no longer believe in God, and it has absolutely no effect on social organization or commonly shared virtues or the internalized ethics or the effects of the conscience on decision-making and so on, I don't even know what to say about that. I'm not saying this is your argument, but it's so unbelievably naive. A large number of steps of natural prevention wherein a free society can very easily prevent undesirable people from coming into the society. Now, on the other hand, if these Clintonists or whoever this nasty group are, if there's a state and the state flies them over and kicks people out of their homes to put the Clintonists up and pays them $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a month, gives them free cell phones, voting rights, and free health care and free dental care, then that's a big problem, right? Whereas in a free society, it's very easy to keep out people that you don't like. But in a statist society, if the cuckish multicultural winds are blowing in a particular direction, I mean, they come flying over like flaming ballistas in a medieval siege, which is everyone is equal. So anyone you have a problem with, you must only have a problem with them because you're prejudiced. Everyone is equal, men and women and Muslims and Icelandic people and Inuit and people from Germany and native-born people to Russia, white people, black, everyone is the same. And therefore, if you have a problem with someone, it's bigotry. And also, it means that if there are any unequal outcomes in general, then that can only result from bigotry. But the first premise that everyone is equal is the one that needs to be examined. If you accept that everyone's equal, then sure, disparate outcomes must be due to some systemic problem or bigotry or a history of slavery or whatever it is, right? But this is why I've been hitting this point so hard in this show for years, that there's no biological evidence or behavioral evidence that everyone is equal, or males and females or ethnic groups. There's massive reams of counter evidence, right? There are approximately 60 significant differences between just blacks and whites that have fairly significant impacts on behavior. And a lot of these are rooted in biology. And so that is the first issue. But of course, the idea that everyone is the same has become so embedded in the popular culture as a result of a specific anti-free market program that was put in place in the early 1920s by the Communist Party, and from a migration standpoint or an immigration standpoint since 1965 by the Democrats. This has become so foundational that even if you point out clear and obvious biological differences, you're still called a racist. Whenever you can fight against basic biology, you end up with a government program or a religious program that never ends and can never be satisfied, and it's a perfect recipe for the endless escalation of power. Saying is that if I have the choice between a godless state or stateless gods, it's a little easy to tip further to the right, because no matter how strong the beliefs are of the religious people, without the state, they have no universal mechanism to inflict their moral preferences on me. But if it's a state with no religion, then all of the people who want to inflict their moral vision on me have the mechanism of the state to inflict it upon me, and that's far less free. I'm an atheist, of course, but I'm also a survivalist. And atheism is not doing a very good job of protecting Western culture at the moment. Look what the fuck is happening in Europe. It's a very secular society. Very secular society. Are they doing any good protecting the heritage that millions of people fought and bled and died for over thousands of years to hand to them? No. And who do I share more values with? Do I share more values with Christians or leftist atheists? That's the big question for me. And the other thing that atheists don't get is, well, why would you care about? Atheists are so smart. Why would you care about birth rates? Atheists are way smarter than Mormons. Why would you? Okay, so it basically runs something like this. Overpopulation is a huge problem. Well, the world is not overpopulated by really smart people.
Yeah, agreed.
Intelligence is 50 to 80% heritable. I happen to think it's at the higher end, but that's just my particular perspective. It's not an actual proven fact. But intelligence is 50 to 80% heritable. Smart people don't have kids because they worry about overpopulation. Dumb people don't worry about overpopulation and have lots of kids. You do the math. And well, a study found that Republicans scored better than Democrats on all four measures of intelligence. The gap was largest when comparing strong Republicans to strong Democrats, and weakest when comparing everyone to the right and everyone to the left of independent. And appreciating the free market takes intelligence. It takes intelligence. To say we should have a welfare state and use the state to redistribute income to take care of the poor is retarded, short-term idiot thinking. That was the funniest part, of course, of that whole nonsense, is that people are honestly telling me that you can be an atheist and for smaller government. And now, of course, these people don't know much, but that I'm an anarchist atheist. That's, I'm aware those people exist because I'm in one of their heads.